Well, good morning, everybody. Here, if you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead here to the show start in about 11, 12 minutes. You can definitely do that. So, thanks for tuning in today or on another day if you're watching this as a rerun. Let's see what we got here. Let's move out of that one. Get into this. Morning, Waylon. Josh, good morning. That's ready. Oh, schmucks. Well, morning, Mike. What is going on in your guys' world here? Hopefully, you had a good Christmas. It's nice weather. Jeez. Christmas Day was just beautiful. Was here anyway. I see some areas. I think did you get some kind of some shitty weather up there, Wayland, didn't you, in Bismarck, Mandan, Christmas Day, something like that. It was beautiful out here, like 40 some degrees and calm. It was nice. Fog and ice, yeah. One shot cap. Good morning. Be done with 2025, huh? Mr. Bulgy, good morning. Mr. Mayor, morning from Fargo. Good God, good God help you. Morning, Karen. Hope everything's good in Mobridge. Well, what the heck? I'm gonna spend most of next week down in the Black Hills. So, which is way better than Fargo, Mr. Mayor. Come on now. Let's see what else going on. I think I got everything halfway ready this morning. Be good to go. Give Wayne a couple minutes here and get him on the line. What else? Let's see. Really nothing much going on. Supposed to get some weather here today and tonight, I guess. Some stuff moving through. Little cool down and then warm back up again here. There's a few snow flurries this afternoon. Starting out at 40, temperatures dropping to about 15, winds increasing up to 40 miles an hour tonight. Okay. Sunday, high of 5 above, winds up to 40. And then Monday, 40 degrees and southwest winds 10 to 15. There you go. There you have it. Mr. Brown, good morning. See what the weather forecast is going to be down in the hills. Let's see. Lead, South Dakota. 44 today with temperatures falling to 20. 70% chance of snow. Sunday, highs of 9 above, windy. And Monday, 35. Okay. What we got here? Shadows of Bigfoot. You wish on that one. Let's see here. Stations give you a countdown here in about 15, 20 seconds. Get you timed out here so you can see what's going on. Eric, good morning. All right, stations here. 7 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Central Time. on Mark. Let's give the Wayno a call here. Big Wayne. The man, the myth, the legend. Not. Hello? Uh-oh.
Are you there, Scott?
I'm there now. A little scratchy going on. What you got going on there?
Okay, there's a new microphone here I had. 1 second, I want to see if this works. Hang on.
Jeez.
All right, I'll do something else. I'm just getting a couple of things set up here. Had a different mic that I thought sounded better, but I guess it doesn't.
Oh, well, this one sounds like you're kind of in a tunnel there a little bit.
Well, it's on speakerphone right now.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay. I see.
Okay. Is that... You can hear me? Can you hear me, Scott? I can't hear anything.
I can hear you.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's better.
Sounds good.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
Are you sitting in like a gaming chair with your gaming headset on?
I don't do that stuff, but
have you ever sat in those gaming chairs?
I haven't, and I think one of my sons got one that he uses for his office in his home.
Oh, they're absolutely
it's kind of the gaming chair,
comfortable. They're really, really nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, to
all that good stuff.
Yeah, to the Ice Bowl of North Dakota. Is that what we can call it?
We've had yesterday. We got close to 51 degrees, so that really helped get some of this out of here. But there's still spots. All the north-facing slopes of everything is just pure ice still.
Yeah, the streets are good. They do a good job of spreading their sand and their beet juice all over whatever they're using, and but the sidewalks and driveways. When you pulled up into my son's driveway yesterday, and it's a little bit of an incline, and we parked, and I turned the car off, and it slid down the driveway.
Yeah. Yeah, I got right in front of the shop here. My place is a pretty good chunk of ice, and I was pulling up with my pickup, and I wasn't thinking about it, and I came about 2 inches from going through the door of the shop, so she slid right up to it. If I would have had my receiver hitch on my front bumper, I would have went right through it. So,
yeah, that's crazy.
You try to keep things shoveled as best you can, but the low spots where everything melts into, it's going to be icy.
Yeah. Yeah, like where our horses are at, it drips off the roofs, and then it freezes, and we get a little low spots, like you said, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. But for the amount of rain that we've got, I mean, not a lot of rain, but the rain's coming and misting. It's been foggy out here.
Yeah.
It was so foggy last night in our area. My goodness, you couldn't see half a block. And
I was looking. Wayland said they had Christmas fog and ice up that way. So, we had a beautiful Christmas day. We went, did a little loop around the ranch here, and took the in-laws out and got Gene out.
Nice.
Out in the fresh air a little bit for him. So,
yeah, good deal.
Yeah.
So did you get a lot of snow lately or not?
No, a flurry here or there, but most of it's been rain. It's been warm enough here that we got sprinkles mostly.
Sure. Yeah.
Got to remember, we're like 15 degrees warmer than the rest of the state down here.
Yeah, you get that over there. When we moved to Billings back in the early 80s, we lived there for about 3 years, and we had never heard of the term Chinook winds before. And then that's a term that they had used out there.
Oh, yeah.
And they come up between the bighorns and the Beartooths, this southern wind, and it just keeps that place so nice. Yeah. You can have 6 inches of snow one day, and 2 days later, it's gone.
It's just like Rapid City, same thing. Rapid and Pierce, same thing. They're in a whole different weather pattern. All right, Wayne, we got about 30 seconds here. I'm going to turn you down. We're going to get ready to go here. Stations, 30 seconds on mark. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Beautiful Saturday morning here at the ranch on the western side of the states here, so hopefully it is in your area as well. Listening on all great radio stations through 6 states and a couple Canadian provinces. KGFX in Pierre, KOLY, Mobridge, K-Fire 550, Bismarck, Mandan, and KCJB in Minot, along with KLTC and Dickinson and 106.9. Thank you guys for having me on here through another 2025 here as we get toward the end of the year. Well, Wayne Muth here, the man, the myth, the legend, the official score here, the official what magazines you write articles for now? Which ones are those again?
Well, I've been having I haven't written any in the past several months here, but Bear Hunter or Bull Hunter magazine, Bear Hunter magazine, Dakota Country, several others, even Eastman's. Nice. So yeah, there's several out there. Yeah.
Well, tell you what. First off, Merry Christmas to you, Happy New Year, because I'm not going to probably see you next Saturday or next week at all. I'm going to take a little hiatus, and I'm going to try to sneak down to the hills. And there's a couple of guys down there that their mountain lion season is opened up here, so I'm going to see what it's like in the Black Hills to follow somebody around. I think it'll be fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
it should be nice. I tell you what, put your hiking boots on. We've chased cats with hounds, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, they don't use hounds here. This is all spot and stalking, so and possibly calling some in. And I'd like to learn that because looking at the North Dakota side here, one male and one female in the Zone 1 late season has been taken, and that season goes until March, at the end of March here. So if I have a chance of doing that up here, I'd like to learn a little bit from the folks that do it without hounds, because I don't have any hounds. Well, my hounds aren't going to do much but shy away from a big mountain lion. So I doubt my wife's boxer is going to go tracking them down.
Yeah.
So,
never know. You never know.
Scared of his own shadow. He's scared of he's scared of a 2-month-old kitten out in the barn. I doubt he's going to go after mountain lion season. So
yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
So the reason I'm having you on here is last week, Jamie and I touched on this very, very little at the after show. But the U.S. House passed the bill to remove the wolves from the endangered species protection list. That was a couple weeks ago now. And the reason I wanted to wait and talk to you about it here is because you know what happens when you do this. Of course, the lawsuits are coming and all the animal rights activist groups are. I wanted them to write their articles in response to this, and it's pretty fun. Okay, so we can get involved in this a little bit because what was it back in 2020? Trump delisted some of them, and then of course that went to a lawsuit, and then it got back onto the endangered species list, and so like we could go through the history of this whole thing. Obama delisted them in 2011 in the Great Lakes states, putting that back to the state management. And it led to a lot of states, including Minnesota, which had hunting seasons, but they closed it up, and then they did good. And then, and then it went back on here. So I don't know if this one's going to stick or not here this time around, but I think it's a good thing to put it into the state's control.
Yeah, because I think what's happened in the past is it wasn't the legislative action that made it into law. So when the presidents do it, it's just a temporary delisting like they did in Minnesota they did in 2011. I think it took effect from 2012 to 14. So they had a season for a while. And then since it's not a law, your activists can get involved with it and your activist judges, and it gets to that political issue more so than a scientific issue. And they turn around and they get it relisted back again. That's why Montana can have hunting right now, and Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming, I believe, have hunting for wolves. And but those wolves, they're not listed on an endangered species list in those states. So that's why legislatively they could do it statewide.
Yeah.
So that makes it nice. And Montana's got a pretty generous season on them. They have over 450 in a quota, and you can, like we'd mentioned, I think in a previous show, you can shoot 15 of them hunting and 15 trapping. So it's a lot of wolves one guy could take. So
there's a reason that they were so heavily hunted and trapped, and in the 70s. This is when all this endangered species stuff started out here. But I was looking here. I had the results from Montana last year, or maybe it was this year. I think it was like 380 were taken or something out of the 450 quota, but nearly 300 were killed in 2024-25. Okay, so that was this year in Montana. So, but I'm not sure if they have a specific season or if it's year round. I'm not positive on that, and that probably doesn't involve car wrecks or accidental or what have you on that. But my whole thing, what's this? Earth Justice is one of the groups that came up, and I was reading some of theirs. How, oh my God, it's so bad. These poor wolves. But how come that nobody thinks about the ranching side and the deer and the elk? And I have a friend that used to be an outfitter over by Great Falls, and he had to stop because there were so many wolves. They chased all the elk off of the place, and the deer and everything gone, and it basically ruined his entire business, and never has recovered from that yet. So they don't ever think about the agricultural side of it, or even the other animals that might suffer from it.
That's actually true, very true. Because when your wolves are listed as an endangered species, that takes the control out of the rancher and the farmers. So they don't have any control over that. So that's not something that we take lightly. I mean, you've got to be able to control them and manage them. And so when you look at it, this delisting would be so good because, like I said, it turns it back into the state and tribal authorities. It's on the House side, so it still has to go through the Senate, and it will be signed by Trump if it does go through. But and if you really think about it, this the delisting piece of it has been a endangered species success story in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
So, and that's really what the goal was. And I think Minnesota has like 2,700 wolves is what they calculate or estimate out there. But what happens so often with these activist groups, and this happened with the group that, or the wolves that they put into Yellowstone, they had said when they first started that they only need 30 breeding pairs to have it removed from the endangered species list. Well, it got to be up to 46 breeding pairs within a year or so. And then they started moving the goalposts, saying, well, this group, there's 25 in this group, that's only considered one breeding pair. So they started, moving things around, so that made it difficult to take them off the endangered species list. So this is what was happening with that piece in Montana, and I think that's happened also in Minnesota, and we're seeing this whole controversy in Colorado as well.
Are you saying, you say it's a success story? We can look at it as a success story, but I don't believe the activist groups really want to be successful. They just want them on the endangered species list forever.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
they do, and but it's, if you look at this also, follow the money. I mean, they pander to these.
We'll stop right there because we're up against our first break, and what a better way to start than say follow the money. because that leads into a whole, let's go down that rabbit hole, shall we, Wayne?
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll do that after the break here. More coming up your way here, the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, talking with Wayne Muth here. If you have questions, comments on this, you can text me 701-425-6651. We'll talk more about the wolves and delisting possibility coming around the corner. Breeding Red Angus since 1988. The Schrieffer Red Angus annual production timed online sale is coming up on DV Auction January 26th through the 31st. Selling 45 coming 2-year-old virgin bulls with sires like Carhartt 218, Double Stack 2034, and Jumpstart J137. Offering 5 registered bred heifers and 90 head of top quality commercial open replacement heifers. For catalogs, videos, and pictures, go to SchrieferRedAngus.com.
This holiday season, all of us at Piper's Auctioneers want to say thank you to all of those who entrusted Piper's Auction Realty and Land Management to sell and manage their most precious agricultural assets. And a grateful thank you to the bidders and buyers and tenants who showed up and supported our auctions throughout the year. As we look ahead to 2026, we invite you to join Piper's Auctioneers for any one of our upcoming land and equipment auctions throughout the Upper Midwest. From our Piper's family to yours, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
If longevity and trust is what you're looking for when you look for quality bulls, look no further than the 21 Angus Ranch. They've been in that exact business for over 32 years. Bulls born and raised at the ranch for longevity that are uniform and have deep-bodied genetics. The 21 Angus Ranch Top Cut Bull Sale is Saturday, January 31st. Join them at 1 o'clock Mountain Time at the ranch east of New England. For a catalog and videos, go to 21angus.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner in ag lending. With our deep understanding and appreciation for the Western way of life, we proudly accept, respect, and promote the values that define our community. Whether you're a farmer, rancher, or business owner, we are here to support your financial needs and help you thrive. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for all your banking needs.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Cattlemen, want market-topping calves at sale time? You need predictable Charlet genetics from Sorority Charlet. Hi, this is Kaylee from Sorority Charlet Ranch. Our 43rd annual bull sale is January 23rd on the ranch west of Bowman. We've got 65 performance-tested yearling Charlet bulls, free delivery up to 300 miles, and we'll feed them free till April 1st. Follow us on Facebook and DV Auction. Sorority Charlet, January 23rd. Remember, bulls built to breed, picked to perform, backed by Sorority Charlet. We'll see you on sale day.
This is Todd with Rounds Angus of Union Center. We invite you to join us at the ranch Saturday, January 24th, 1 o'clock. We'll offer 48 yearling Black Angus bulls out of the excellent sires Baldridge Badger, Cray Big Country, JR Fast Forward, Renown, Rounds Young Guns, and Building Block. All bulls are backed by a first breeding season guarantee. For catalog and videos, visit RoundsAngusRanch.com or call 605-985-5469. See you at the ranch January 24th, 1 o'clock for the Rounds Angus Bull Sale.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, BowmanLivestockMarketing.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo-Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, right here across the entire Dakota network. Good to have you along here and across a few other states as well. Wayne Muth is my guest here. Wayne, welcome back to the program. And we finished with you saying follow the money. But let's go to a couple text messages that people sent here while we're on break here. From the Minnesota, or my buddy Dave from Minnesota, he says, in Minnesota, the Indian tribes, Mystic Lake, Red Lake, they all have so much money that they pushed for the ban of wolf hunting. And which I guess if you don't run cattle or you don't have any livestock, I guess I could see people doing this, right? I mean, seems like they have more money than we do sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and why they would do that, I'm not sure. But the tribe has kind of always been that way. They like that protection of a lot of things, but they would be able to manage it. And when I came across an interview a couple of years ago on a Montana senator when I was interviewed, and he had brought up some studies about when they started a hunt at some areas, and I think it was in Montana, I believe, where actually the populations didn't really get impacted as much by the hunting. You kept the hunting down as much as one hunter, or 20 hunters took the same amount as all these wolves. So what happened is the wolves were pushed nocturnally, but they were also pushed back away from more domesticated areas. So you didn't have the impact on the cattle and the sheep and the livestock and such like that. But it didn't really impact the populations that much, but it changed their patterns and it helped. So hunting also helps in that regard. It's going to keep them away from the cattle, but it may maintain the current levels of hunting or of the numbers.
Yeah.
So maybe the activists should look at that and say, you know what, maybe we need to put hunting on there, because anything that the hunters have and want to have is going to stay on the landscape.
Well, you know darn well the activists don't want anything to do with hunting. You know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
yeah, exactly.
Another text comes in, says, Scott, don't count your wolves yet. The bill's still got to get through the Senate. I know it does here. I admit, it's fun to talk about anyway. I'd like to see it. Anyway, you said follow the money. And so one of the organizations that really, really, really got on my radio show very quickly in Montana, I was on 2 radio stations in Montana, and I got taken out within a week. And it was because of the Defenders of Wildlife organization. They were just anti whatever I was doing. I think I was shooting prairie dogs and doing that stuff, right? And they didn't care for that. With a lot of help from the money from big, people that donate to them, they got me kicked off within a week on some of these radio stations. So those guys like their money, and by protecting or having the wolves in, if they can say, well, look what we did, we kept X amount of people from killing these animals. Here comes more money, right? And more money. And the person that's running that does not do it for free. I'll tell you that.
That's right. It's very expensive. That's for sure to bring in these wolves and to transfer wolves and even the ones that they're putting in Colorado. Now they had tried to get some from Oregon, and actually Canada wouldn't give them any more wolves. And they tried to get them from Oregon, and apparently Oregon's wolves that they were going to move over were troubled wolves anyway that they're trying to move.
Shocking.
So they understand that there's an issue with them, but they don't admit it. They just move them to another spot.
Oh, that's a huge thing. Anything that's considered to be a troubled wolf or bear, they're gonna drop them off somewhere else, right? Another text message comes in, says these activist groups despise hunting and any and all population control. Just look at the wild horse problem. They're flat out destroying a fragile ecosystem, turning vast areas into moonscapes, and they're downright mean around the water source. Some of them are detrimental to the native wildlife, such as desert bighorns and mule deer. And
definitely
different way of looking at it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I had heard that once the horses go into the water, they'll walk in the water and drink out of it, but a sheep won't. So they don't. They want more of a clean stream, so they'll avoid those water sources, and that's where they run into issues.
Really,
too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tim messages. He says, "I think the U.S. wolf population needs to be managed with the depredation compensation increase to cattlemen." Question: has the Yellowstone wolf reduced the number of bison exiting that national park? That I'm not sure. I know they impacted the moose and wolves like heavily, but I'm not sure on the bison side of things.
Yeah. Well, I know that the elk population is decimated. When I was in Billings, we lived there in the early 80s. The population of the northern Yellowstone ecosystem was about 17,000 head. And in 95, when they introduced the wolves, it didn't take long, and that population was down to like 4,000.
Yeah.
And it killed a lot of cows, older cows, which are the calf bearing, the breeding cows, and then a lot of the calves as well. But and they're detrimental to mountain lions because they push the elk out into the flats away from the timber where the mountain lions hunt the elk and such. And in these areas that they cross areas for living between mountain lions and wolves. Wolves are really taken over, and they collared some lions, and they watched them too. About 147 is what they watched, but they didn't collar them all, of course. They saw where the wolves would go in and they would kill the kittens, and the kittens they would just dismember and pull apart and spread around.
Really?
Just kind of the show of dominance in an area. And they had several reports of that where they did that. So it's not only to the elk and such, but the other predators that are in that area.
So somebody told me one time, I don't know if this is true, I don't know a lot about the wolf side. They say that the wolf is the only animal that'll just kill for fun. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Well, that's what they're doing with these lions, and they, they tear apart into kittens. So they take away generations of a cat for pleasure. They tear them up and kill the whole families. Yep.
Yeah, and like you said, not only that, but if they're just killing for fun and they see some deep snow and they got a whole bunch of yearling elk in there, I bet they have a little bit of fun there too.
Yeah, sure. Well, they're known to kill working cattle dogs, and we've seen videos from Canada where they've gone up and attacked 2 dogs right off the porch.
Really?
And, yeah.
So that's what it's got to come to, is some city slicker's got to lose some pets. And then
maybe that's it.
But it's still they're gonna be like, well, we don't need to kill it, we just need to relocate it out to somebody's calf crop there instead.
Right.
So,
and if this goes through and gets delisted, let's say the Senate does pass it, and hopefully it will, and Trump signs it, and the Game and Fish commissions will be able to, or departments will be able to take over, but they are Game and Fish commissions, such as in Washington and in Colorado. And when you have a liberal governor that assigns commissioners to these committees, then we have to be very careful, because they're often extreme leftists that are non-consumptive users and want to eliminate hunting as a management tool. So, and that's what's happened in some of these areas. So we have to, hopefully that it's managed correctly when and if this happens.
Yeah, like you said, if it goes to state control, it depends on how that state is controlled, right? I mean,
yes, exactly.
This is surprising. This came out of one of the representatives out of Minnesota that was a big supporter of this bill, getting it pushed through, and so there's still people in that state that actually understand that it's not just about the Twin Cities. There's a whole bunch around the Twin Cities that's still big into the agricultural side of things too, and because what did they call it? The Pet and they have a name.
The Pet and Livestock Protection Act.
Pet and Livestock Protection Act is what it's called.
So. Yep.
Well,
interesting stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this, and we're going to open up the phone lines to next half hour. And what I would like to know is if it does come to state control, because, I'm going to prelude what we're going to be talking about here, because North and South Dakota is surrounded by states that have wolves. And if you think that they're not going to be, or if they're not already here, you're sorely mistaken, because each and every year there's wolves taken in and around the Dakota Territory. We'll talk about that more with Wayne Muth. And if you want to call in, 888-932-5682. That's 888-9-DAKOTA, toll-free number. Or you can text me, 701-425-6651. That's 425-6651. I'm live chatting on YouTube as well. You can message me either way. We'll be back right after these messages. Breeding Red Angus since 1988. The Schrieffer Red Angus annual production timed online sale is coming up on DV Auction January 26th through the 31st. Selling 45 coming 2-year-old virgin bulls with sires like Carhartt 218, Double Stack 2034, and Jumpstart J137. Offering 5 registered bred heifers and 90 head of top quality commercial open replacement heifers. For catalogs, videos, and pictures, go to SchrieferRedAngus.com.
This holiday season, all of us at Piper's Auctioneers want to say thank you to all of those who entrusted Piper's Auction Realty and Land Management to sell and manage their most precious agricultural assets. And a grateful thank you to the bidders and buyers and tenants who showed up and supported our auctions throughout the year. As we look ahead to 2026, we invite you to join Piper's Auctioneers for any one of our upcoming land and equipment auctions throughout the Upper Midwest. From our Piper's family to yours, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
If longevity and trust is what you're looking for when you look for quality bulls, look no further than the 21 Angus Ranch. They've been in that exact business for over 32 years. Bulls born and raised at the ranch for longevity that are uniform and have deep-bodied genetics. The 21 Angus Ranch Top Cut Bull Sale is Saturday, January 31st. Join them at 1 o'clock Mountain Time at the ranch east of New England. For a catalog and videos, go to 21angus.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner in ag lending. With our deep understanding and appreciation for the Western way of life, we proudly accept, respect, and promote the values that define our community. Whether you're a farmer, rancher, or business owner, we are here to support your financial needs and help you thrive. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for all your banking needs.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Cattlemen, want market-topping calves at sale time? You need predictable Charlet genetics from Sorority Charlet. Hi, this is Kaylee from Sorority Charlet Ranch. Our 43rd annual bull sale is January 23rd on the ranch west of Bowman. We've got 65 performance-tested yearling Charlet bulls, free delivery up to 300 miles, and we'll feed them free till April 1st. Follow us on Facebook and DV Action. Sorority Charlet, January 23rd. Remember, bulls built to breed, picked to perform, backed by Sorority Charlet. We'll see you on sale day.
This is Todd with Rounds Angus of Union Center. We invite you to join us at the ranch Saturday, January 24th, 1 o'clock. We'll offer 48 yearling Black Angus bulls out of the excellent sires Baldridge Badger, Cray Big Country, JR Fast Forward, Renown, Rounds Young Guns, and Building Block. All bulls are backed by a first breeding season guarantee. For catalog and videos, visit roundsangusranch.com or call 605-985-5469. See you at the ranch January 24th, 1 o'clock for the Rounds Angus Bull Sale.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes,
Welcome back, everybody. The Saturday edition continues here. Dakota Prairie Outdoors across Dakota territory. Good to have you along here. Wayne Muth is my guest here today. We're talking wolves and the delisting possibility that is coming up in U.S. House passed it. Now they got to go to the Senate, but we'll see how that goes. What we're talking about, though, is state control and how it would feel in and around your area. All right, if the state had that control and they could do something about it. Is all the antis that are against it, of course. So, well, I got a message here, Wayne. It says, this is from Tim here on the program. It says, there was a story about 2 weeks ago, sighting of eastern gray wolves in the Botno, North Dakota area. The next transplant will be grizzly bears. Well, the grizzly bears are pretty darn close because they're transplanting them over my area down by the Ekalaka side. So they're close already. So, but I didn't hear any of this about the Botno story. I never heard that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's the same story, but there was some sighted in the J. Clark Sailor Refuge, which is kind of northwest of Minot, I think about 30 miles or so. Now, there was several there that they'd spotted, and the hunters that actually had talked about it actually backed away from them because they started approaching the hunters, a couple of them. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting. But, with the Game and Fish Department, they've not verified that these are wolves through any DNA sampling so far. But I think the video and pictures that we're showing appears are surely wolves. But
so is there a difference?
Yeah.
Could it be a different? Okay, so I know that there's such things as coyotes and wolves that mate, and something happens there. Is there so many different species? I mean, when you see a wolf, don't you know it? I mean, they're huge animals.
Yeah, the Game and Fish Department will, unless they get some DNA testing that says it is an actual wolf, they're not going to say it is a wolf.
Okay.
Because once you do that, and this is talking with the biologist, once you do that, then you start getting the activists in here and the antis, and you start getting that to deal with as well. So currently North Dakota does not have an endangered species list, so the wolf isn't on it because we don't have one, but it is on the state list of species. On the fur bear species list, and it's under a closed season. So I think if this would all pass through, the state would having that authority under that state authority, having the authority at the state Game and Fish Department would be more flexible in the depredation and the livestock and other issues. But I think if we would ever have a season here, there would have to be enough to have a breeding pair and have an established population someplace before the season would really open. And I think that they would probably have more control over that livestock and being able to get depredation hunts out possibly sooner if it's under state control.
So do you think that it seems like every year for the last 10 years at least, I've heard of somebody accidentally getting one or trapping one or shooting one or one in their cattle. I've been hearing it every single year. Are they passing through, or do we already have breeding pairs in and around the area? Because, like I said, the old trapper that used to live here, he passed away years ago now, but he claimed there was breeding pairs all around this area. So are they just, you still, every year you hear somebody seeing or getting them on game camera or shooting one. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I would think until, it comes under state authority, the state's really not going to do anything with it because they really can't. Even on the wildlife refuge, they don't have really a lot of control over the wolves there because they are under
you can't
the
hunt
list.
There. Yeah.
So that piece of it. But these wolves that have been in here, they've tested wolves frequently, and there's some that have came from Minnesota, that strain. There's some that have came from Montana. So it's they're infiltrating from both ways, but most of the sightings that they said that they're seeing at the Game and Fish Department are from the north central North Dakota area. Mm-hmm. So that is right in this area where we're talking about. So there's probably an established group up there because I think there was the picture I had seen was like 6 or 8 of them. So that's quite a few. So
that's 6 to 8 more than I'd ever want to see.
Yeah, no kidding. My friend from Cody was just visiting me yesterday, and we got to talking about wolves. He said he when he goes hunting, he goes hiking. He buys a wolf tag every year, and he said several years back they were walking his dog, and he said there was a wolf following them about 50 yards back. They're following because his little dog was with him, and the dog was deaf, so the dog couldn't hear. So he stayed right close to him. But he said it was kind of creepy because he didn't have his weapon or anything with him at the time. But they are very predators to the core.
Yeah, I got a message from the mayor. Says wolves will eliminate other predators. Just like you talked about here. If he understands it correctly, wolves will eliminate coyotes as well. Not 100% on that, but he read it somewhere, and I guess they're glad. I guess there's one positive about having so many coyotes around the ranch here is we probably don't have any wolves, but are they coming? I mean, you see bigger game animals in North Dakota's elk population is increasing each and every year. And is that something the bigger the big game animals are the bigger predators following right behind them sometimes?
Well, you'd surely think so because I mean they need food, they need substance, so they're going to follow these big herds, or they're going to move into where there's a lot of food because these younger pups are getting pushed out and establishing some of their own territories, and I would imagine that's why we see some moving here and there and trying to establish their own. And I mentioned to you I found a set of tracks north of the park about 15 miles several years back, and there were definitely wolf tracks. I mean, there's no dogs in this area where I was at, and the ranchers that are in the area don't have dogs. And this track was huge. I laid my broadhead in the pad, and really, there's nothing else it could have been. It was a canine track, not a cat. And it just goes to show that they're randomly traveling through the western part of the state as well, and that north central area. So
between that now, we got possibility of wolves here. We already have confirmed through the Game and Fish about black bear being in the area. Mountain lions, we got lions, tigers, and bears here, and all kinds of stuff going on pretty quick, man.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, once the populations get up there, maybe there'll be other avenues for hunting and such. It'd be fun to go out and shoot some wolves.
I would love to do it. I always wanted to go to Montana and do it, but I heard it's probably one of the hardest animals. They said you'd think getting in on a coyote, a spooky coyote, is really tough. They said wolves are really, really hard to get in on.
Yeah. Several years ago when they opened up the season in Montana, they had a 200 animal quota. And in 4 days, they filled that quota. And then the wolves started getting smarter, and they started avoiding some of these areas. They're hearing gunshots and being more cautious, going more nocturnal. And my friend Blake said the same thing yesterday. In Wyoming, it's a little tougher to hunt them now because they have been hunted. So, and I think that we're seeing that the depredation on livestock is probably less in those areas because you don't hear it like you do in Colorado where they're not hunted. So,
I agree with you. It's just no different than the coyotes. Like, was it in the last 4 calving seasons? Three of the 4 calving seasons, I had just terrible coyote issues, to the point where the Fish and Wildlife, they came down, they tried to fly, and I was on one side of the pasture. Brent was on the other side, and we were seeing coyotes left and right, and we watching them actually go up and dragging calves down. And this plane, it's just too rough a country. It couldn't get in. It couldn't get close enough. They had some different rules and regulations. They had to stay a little higher and fly a little faster because of dead air pockets in the Badlands out here. But, it got to the point where we started trapping, and he came out and started snaring in February. And by golly, when he got there was 2 pair, Wayne, that were just the troublemakers. They were the old ones that once we got them finally caught and taken out, it was amazing how very little issues I had after that. But they were some big old coyotes, and but you got to get the bad ones out. Somebody told me, they said there's coyotes they'd rather go hunt a rabbit than a calf, and I'm like, I didn't see that for like the three of the years out of those, but I finally seen if you do take care of the old nasty couples that are the troublemakers, teaching all the young ones how to do it, and it did make a difference. It really did.
Well, and, excuse me, I sent you a couple of pictures of some wolves that my friends, the guide's dad and he had taken up in Canada where we were bear hunting, and the one was 190 pounds, and the other was 170. And these things are absolutely huge wolves, and they trap them, and it's amazing how big they get, and no wonder they can take down elk like that. So,
well, especially when they work together.
mhm.
I mean, that's just a given there. Another text comes in, says, when I grew up in the 70s, we didn't have coyotes in my area. And in the late 80s, the coyotes moved in, and really rare to see a fox now. I haven't even seen a gray fox for over 30 years. And that's kind of in this country. We don't have much for fox, but you get around that Scranton country, they got a lot more pheasant. There's fox all over the place down there.
Yeah.
And so I think it just depends on the food source, too.
Yeah. My friend Kevin just texted me too, and he said that about 15, 18 years ago, he saw a wolf in the Kildare Mountains as well.
Yeah.
So, you think about that stretch from the Badlands to the Kildare Mountains, across the northern part of the lake, all the way over to the northern, Minot area.
Stanley,
and then the other
direction.
Then the other direction from Minnesota. I mean, if they've got close to 3,000 wolves over there, it's got to push those wolves out of that northern part of the state.
They're going to, It's because the wolves don't know the border. They don't know where the border is.
Yep.
I mean, same thing from Canada or Montana. I mean, they're coming through the areas, and I feel that there's still a lot of them in the Montana side. According to the stock growers, they're relocating all the troubled ones that they find near and around city or more populated urban areas, and they're relocating them. The Stock Growers Association said, they said it is absolutely happening. Unfortunately, they said we can't do anything about it because, like you said before, the money is incredible from some of these organizations, how they're supported.
Yeah. And then the organizations, they think, well, we're going to do you a justice here and pay for your cattle and pay for the losses that you had. But you think about somebody that's raising a herd that is registered, and you work to get this bloodline set up, and you have wolves coming in and killing it. It's a lot more than just the cost of that animal that's being killed there.
Right.
There's a lot of time and effort and longevity and historical and forward, commerce coming
down the road. I mean, if this is a 3-year-old cow and you're going to keep it until it was 12, 13 years old, especially on the registered side, you got to pay each and every year that it would have paid out. Maybe that would have been that $1 million bull calf in it too. God darn it. Right?
That's right.
You never know.
Right. Yep.
So,
that's for sure.
It would be fun to go on the hunt. I think it would be. I like hunting other predators. I think that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's why I'm trying to learn a little bit on the mountain lion side. I would love to go to wherever it's legal to hunt wolves, and hopefully I don't see them around this area. But I'm sure, last year, I was walking through Runnings, and this guy stopped me. He's like, "Hey," he says, I got this. He says, I know it's a wolf. They took it and they took it down to Colorado. He says, they're not giving it back. I can't get it back. They won't answer their phone. They won't talk to me. They won't do. And he says, he asked me if I had any. I'm like, I can't help you on that. I said, I wish I could. I don't have any pull or anything.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
I just run across people that say they've done this, and you don't see it on the social media. You don't see it on the news or anything. They just keep it quiet because they don't want any press about it. So I wonder how much often
that's definitely true. I think that it gets, kind of hidden a little bit, pull the wool over our eyes is what they're trying to do. But, I was hunting with a friend of mine down at Deckard Flats, which is the north side of Yellowstone Park, my gardener. And we were elk hunting, and this is back probably in the mid 80s. And there were wolves established there then, because we saw a pack of wolves on the one ridge side, and they had split up. They went 3 went high and 3 went low, and there was some mule deer in the trees in between them, and they went running through the trees chasing these mule deer. And the snow was too deep for the wolf to really get any momentum, and the deer kind of bounded away. But still, how they split up and how they tried to, catch these deer was pretty impressive. So they are killing machines, and they're killing for sport. They kill for food. They kill coyotes. We've seen videos of them ganging up on a coyote and tearing him apart. It's their nature is pretty brutal, and we're seeing it when it comes to the wolves. And when some activist pets get torn apart and left in their driveway, maybe that'll be the sign that they need to change their minds a little bit.
I doubt it. Their minds are hard to change. They'd probably look at it and say, well, he must have been hungry.
Yeah.
Fluffy must have been a nice little snack for him. But
Yeah.
you look at across the, western North and South Dakota and into the middle parts of the state, there's a lot of what I would consider really, really good habitat for any of these animals, really.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody talks
Yeah.
about habitat all the time. Well, what more do you need than water, trees, and plenty of food?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Spring, yeah.
So with this weather that we're having, hopefully the warm weather will keep the deer healthy, and they'll better health, and the longer they keep the antlers is good, and they'll have some of that weight, so it contributes to better body health and antler growth the next year. So hopefully that'll happen. Although I did see my first deer shed already.
You did?
December 12th. December 12th, a smaller buck had already shed his antlers. Okay. So it was really surprising. Yeah.
I saw the very first 3 white-tailed deer that came back along the river here on Christmas Day. Yeah, we finally seen some flagging going on. I was like, oh, I'll be darned.
Yeah.
The whitetail are slowly coming back now.
Yeah. So if you want to maybe do some different type of hunting, I hear that Washington State is looking to possibly auctioning off of sea lion permits in the Columbia River. Because apparently these sea lions are swimming up the Columbia River and they're decimating their salmon. They're getting to these pinch points in the river and where the salmon are congregating, and they're going in there and they're killing a bunch of salmon. They put up these floating killer whale decoys or whatever, and these flagging men, these air blowing flagging men with arms, and it's not working. So they're maybe opening up sea lion. How'd you like to try that?
So it's an interesting to talk about this, because years ago when I got onto our local board for our broadband company, I met this guy from Washington, and every time him and I would sit down and talk, I would interview him for a radio show. His name was Gary.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying he said, you're going to see it, Scott. He said, these sea lions, they're coming up. He says they're going to decimate our salmon. And this is back when the salmon were really, really in good numbers.
Really?
And he called it way ahead of time 10 years ago. And it was it's funny that you're talking about that they're having a season now, because now that he passed on, I don't get my sea lion updates from him anymore. And I can definitely see that. They were calling that way back when. And he says it's nothing but a geopolitical thing going on with that. He said nobody wanted to believe it, but now it's evidently happening.
Yeah. So can you imagine? I mean, they're auctioning off these tags, or it's a proposal. I don't think it's gone to fruition yet, but it'll be interesting what those tags would go for. Interesting.
Yeah. I've never heard of anybody eating a sea lion, except maybe up in the northern states.
Right?
I mean,
I know the Inuits do up there. Yeah. But that's
I would.
So.
I'd do it, man. Because those things can get huge.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Get something with tusks that you can keep, right? Because there was a couple other species. Maybe one of them has tusks that you can actually get. So that'd be interesting. That's for sure.
That would be could you imagine that floating down the river, waiting on the riverside or whatever? I don't know how you'd even go about going after one.
With a bow fishing rod and reel.
Bow fishing, yeah. Well, that you better put some big test line on there.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
You helped me ruin another perfectly good hour on a Saturday morning. I appreciate it. Thank you. People want to get in touch with you. They got something to score yet this year. How do they find you?
Yeah, you can give me a call at 701-391-3061. Or you can go online with Pope and Young. They have our numbers there too. Okay. And I've just scored a couple moose last week, as a matter of fact. And there's been a lot of big moose taken in North Dakota.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk. We're going to do that with the after-hour show. Does that work?
Okay, sounds good. Okay. You bet.
Now we always go so fast here, Wayne. Thanks for tuning in here today on another beautiful Saturday. Eat some meat, drink some milk, and make sure to wear fur and wool and support your local farmers and ranchers out there. 97% private land, and there's a reason everything looks good there too. All right, stations. All right, Wayne, we'll give him a few seconds here before we get into. Thanks, Josh. Josh is a good show, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, so anyway, big moose, we're talking 60-inch or what?
No, but so here's one that it takes like 180 to get into Boone and Crockett.
Okay.
And I scored one the other day that was 175. And I mean, so that's pretty damn close. But there's been some bigger ones that I think have been shot that are going to score over 180 and making Boone and Crockett bulls. And it's really interesting because, you know, Pope and Young, they put out every biennium, they put out their convention program. And in their program, they have how many elk or how many animals are taken from each state. And North Dakota is like number 6 on the list for Canadian moose for being entered. So that's
really
pretty cool. But for Canadian moose and velvet, we've entered more Canadian moose and velvet than any other state or province. So if you want a world record of something, go try to get a moose in velvet with a bow, because if you could shoot a big enough one, that's the category that you could probably get yourself very high in the record books.
I'll be done.
So it's kind of cool.
I'm just looking up here because I don't know much about moose either, scoring what's big or not, but some of the trophy ones here, 266 and 4/8 up in Yukon River in Alaska.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's huge.
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to get a comparison here, but North Dakota, I mean, compared to what? I mean, what other states have moose? I guess Washington and those areas. I mean, they still get some big ones out there too.
Well, not so much. Washington and Idaho and Montana are the shyest. Same with Colorado.
Okay.
And Wyoming. That's the shyest there. And North Dakota is odd because the North Dakota and Minnesota are the Canadian that come down here.
Okay.
But I if you do a DNA sampling, they'd probably be so overlapped in there. It's crazy. So if you go to Montana and you shoot one maybe up by Sydney or someplace up there, it'd have to be considered a Shiras because it's in Montana, but it's probably a Canadian that wandered across the border.
Right.
So you get a pretty nice moose and consider it a Shiras, I guess.
Well, they say here, okay, there's 2 main types, North American and Eurasian, each subspecies, like the huge Alaska moose and Western Canadian moose. The smaller is the Shiraz moose, Rocky Mountain, and various other ones from there. Okay.
Yeah, because we'd gone up to, we went to Alaska. This is about 20 years ago, and we hunted up there, the Canadian Yukon up there, and we shot one. My buddy hit it first, and it was like a 63-inch back-breaking moose. It was awful.
Back-breaking.
Yeah, it was not
like,
fun.
You think the hardest part of the hunt is getting in and getting it shot or arrowed, and then you realize you have to hike out with this thing.
Yeah. Well, our season was 10 days long, and we hunted for like 7 days or 6 days. Then we had a storm come through, and it dumped like 10 inches of rain on us. Had 60-mile-an-hour winds. It was like the remnants of a Japanese typhoon because we were way over in Alaska. I was sitting in my tent, took my GPS. I said, Honolulu, Hawaii, go to, and it was straight south of us.
Yeah.
And according to the globe, how it turns, that's exactly straight south. So that's how far west you were.
Right.
But anyway, so then we ended up shooting this.
So Alaska is the furthest western point and the furthest eastern point. And so depends on what side of the timeline you were on. That you may have been as far east as you could go too.
Yeah, could be. Maybe not quite that far, but pretty close. You get out in that tail of Alaska. But we ended up shooting this thing, and 3/4 of a mile from the lake, we had a boat that we rented, and we would travel on the boat. But anyway, we had to cross 3 streams actually, and we realized when we got back to the airport that natives do not shoot a moose anywhere further than a 1/4 mile from any road or lake, because it's awful. It was awful.
Taking
know.
one of those guys, they're going to give you information, but they're not probably looking for the big antlers either, right? I mean,
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, I'm sure they use them for some tools, but thinking for the most part, they're going after the meat.
Yeah, we ran into Larry Zonka was on our lake. He was a Pro Football Hall of Fame running back for the Miami Dolphins. He did the Suzuki Outdoors for many years, TV show. And he was filming a brown bear hunt up there. And we told him, he said, we went back to his camp and said, hey, come over and use our moose kill because the bears will be on it. And they have been in the area. We saw them every day. So it was pretty cool too.
Multi-use.
Yeah, but that is backbreaking work. We ran into two guys at the airport flying out of Dillingham, Alaska. One was from Anchorage and one was from Baltimore. They're brothers. And they're both in their late 30s, early 40s. And they'd hunted, the season's 10 days long. They hunted for like 6-7 days and then decided, well, we're going to split up. They split up and they each shot a moose. And he said it was the worst day they could have ever because they said for the next 3 days they packed out moose, and he said they were so exhausted to get back to camp. They couldn't eat. They weren't taking a pistol with them anymore, just a pepper spray. The one guy from Baltimore said, he said, I'll never come back to Alaska again.
Wow. Oh, it's rough country, man.
He said we just about died. He said it's so tough.
Yeah, I feel if you're gonna go to any of these hunts, and any outfitter would agree with me, you better start working out now. Even if you don't think you're going to get a tag for 5 years, start working out right now.
Yeah,
I heard it's just brutal.
I took a backpack and I fill it with books, and I would go hiking with it and weights and such like that, and try to do some jogging with it on to build up stamina. And still, it definitely helped. But I tell you what, I just need my son's football buddies to go along maybe next time.
There you go. Take them young whippersnappers up there and have them go after it.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, my old neighbor that was over here, I'd put him, he was like 70 and I'd put him against any of the young guys hiking anywhere. That guy was unbelievable in shape.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's good. Good to see you. Maybe that could be us when we're 70 years old.
If I make it to 70, I'll be lucky. That's all I'm going. My goal.
Keep on taking your ivermectin. Who knows?
Heck, half a bottle's already gone here. Jeez, it's only been 6 years. All right, man. I better get some chores done, and you have yourself a dandy day. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas again, man. Thanks a lot. See you, Scott.
You bet. See ya. Bye. All right, tubers. Thank you guys. We'll see you next year. And, if you have any ideas for the first show of the year, please let me know. Send me a text. I'd appreciate it. Have a good day.